Alrighty folks, so we're back here with the '89 CRX SI, and I want to show you a air intake adaptation that I'm going to do on the car. But before I go there, you may have noticed from previous videos that there is no longer an air conditioning unit in the vehicle, and that's because I did an AC delete. But why did I not record it? Well, it's because we have some really good videos already out there that show the AC delete. I would actually recommend the one from Garage Built Hondas that shows in fantastic detail how to take out the AC from this an '89 CRX. So I didn't show my kind of tribulations through that process, but as you can tell, it's gone. And I'll put a link in the description if you want to check out Garage Built Hondas. It's a great channel and it shows how to take out the AC from the '89 CRX or a CRX SI. But this video is actually about the air intake, and I want to show you what I'm actually going to do here. Okay, so the plan is actually to keep this, to use this, to get rid of this, and as you can tell, I've gotten rid of the breather tube already, but to get rid of this and to install a cold air intake filter in this area. So that's the plan. Um, I'll have to remove this and this piece, obviously, and there's another plastic piece down here attached to this. So that's the plan for now. So I actually want to keep this. It'll make things a lot easier. So in order to do this, I don't think I'm going to need a heck of a lot. So let me show you what I'm going to be using. Okay. I got an AEM dry flow air filter. So I'm going to use this guy. Here's the one I'm going to be using. All right. And you'll be able to get the diameters and all of that. So that's going to be important as we go forward. So I'm going to use that, but I need something that fits this diameter, right? So here comes this guy. So this is a 3-inch aluminum tube, and it's 6 inches long. But I actually cut it down by about ½ an inch. So I cut about ½ an inch from this tube, and the thinking is that it's going to go in here, right? So this is 3 inches in in diameter, and now it's 5½ inches long. So it's going to go like this, and then I'm going to need a silicone hose. So this is 3 inches, and it's going to reduce 3 inches here, and it's going to reduce here on this end, and this is where it's going to get attached to the filter, right? So I need another aluminum tube. So here is that aluminum tube. Now I'm not sure if I need to cut this as well so that it fits in this area. I actually am going to do a fit and take this out, and then see how much of this I may need to cut, because I think I will need to cut some of this. Not sure just yet. So those are the pieces. I've got about 4 pieces in order to try to make this work. So my other concern is aesthetics. If I put it all in and I don't like the way it looks, then I'm gonna take it back out. I don't care. But anyway, so first step is to remove this guy.
This one's an 8mm.
Alright, taking this out. Air filter looks pretty good. Yeah, looks pretty good. That's good news. I am missing a bolt down there. I'm not sure whatever happened to that thing. But I do need to take out this bolt here. I know I didn't have to take this off, but I thought it was just easier in order to take this off. So I have a bolt here, most likely a 10mm bolt. Alrighty, so 10mm bolt. There's a bolt down there and a bolt over here that I've removed. I removed this one. I was still missing that one down there, but now this thing pulls up very easily. As I mentioned, I got rid of the breathing tube, so here we go. Now this is the space I've got to work with. So let me try to piece this together just to get a sense of what this is going to look like. Start with this. Let's here. Start with this. Well, let's see. See if I can just stick it in there. Alright, we're getting somewhere. Okay, so that's in. This and then the other piece, but because of the angle, I'm not sure what angle I'm gonna have to work with. So I think what I want to do is put the other tube in here already. Try to put it in as much as possible. Okay, and then put this in as much as possible. I think I'm gonna have to cut this. Oh yeah, this is gonna have to get cut a lot. So if this goes in here, if I stick this in here like so, which there is space in here, by the way, for this, I think I'm barely gonna need a tube here. So I'm gonna take this out. And if I just run it like this, stick it in like so, like that, well, it looks like I still have a lot of space that I need to make up for. So I don't think it's gonna fit, you guys. Let's see here. if I bring it in. Okay, so looking at this, looking at the angle of this silicone tube, I either need to get an angle that's not a sharp 90, or I need to cut this silicone tube. Um, from here to here is actually not a whole lot of space, so I'm gonna have to cut the aluminum tube as well. It's probably gonna be just like around here, which is probably gonna be like 3 inches of tube. You know, if I measure from here to here, probably 3 or 4 inches of tube, something like that. And then it's gonna sit like this. And then if this filter needs to sit in here, and if it's going to rest at an angle, then this guy needs to actually be trimmed. And I think I need to trim it a good amount. I probably need to trim it like a few inches, probably around 2.5 inches. So my next experiment will be to trim this 2.5 inches, and then see how everything fits. Yeah, because right now, if this is sitting like so, like this for example, this guy doesn't fit in here comfortably without getting in the way, but there is space in here for the filter to fit in. There's actually space for it to sit in here nicely. So this by the way, is 2.5 inches. So it needs to go from 3 to, I believe, 2.5. But I think this needs to get cut a good chunk. So I'm going to actually experiment. I'm going to trim it. I'm going to trim it an inch first, and then see how that works. All right, so I actually ended up cutting about a little over an inch, and I know I need to clean up the cut, but just to show you placement, let me just show you. I think you can see it from there, but just to show you, I may not need a whole lot here. It's gonna lift up. It's gonna lift up this tube just slightly. That's probably gonna be it. So it's not too bad. And then here, I won't need a whole heck of a lot either. So if I place this over just like that, I can see that this straight line is probably going to be something like this, and then it's going to fit. So then the next step would be to measure out how much tube I'm going to need here. And it's probably this much. Let me measure this out. Okay, so if we measure, and this is going to be, what is this again? The 3-inch, I believe, right? Yeah, the 3-inch tube. It's going to go in here. I want to measure the length. I'm just going to put this here for now. And if I set this like so, okay, so it's going to look something like that and something like that. If I measure the distance here, I'm probably going to need about 3 inches of that tube. So yeah, it's about 3 inches of that tube that I'm going to need there. 3 inches here. And then here, these guys are going to be pretty flush to each other, so I probably will only need a couple of inches of this. Maybe like 2.5 inches. I'll go with 2 inches. So 3 inches here and 2 inches here. So Now I gotta get to cutting. Like I said, I cut this before, but I thought I only needed to cut a ½ inch, but obviously I need to cut a whole heck of a lot. So I'll cut this down to whatever it is I said just now, 3 inches, and then the other tube, this tube, is gonna be cut to like about 2 inches. So I'll only need like about 2 inches of this tube, and then the hope is that everything's gonna sit well, because this angle is going a slightly different angle than this. I'm hoping everything will be okay. Maybe I can move this slightly, and then they'll match, and then we'll go from there. Oh, one more thing I need to do is just to clean up this cut. Very ugly, but I just used a hacksaw. So I think I was good to be a little prudent with the cut. I measured it and I thought it was about 2 inches, but I gave myself 1.5 inches only because of this angle, this 90-degree angle. So it ended up working okay. Measure again. Yeah, about 3 inches. All right, and then about a couple of inches. The nice thing about this is that if I don't like it, I can just take it out and put the other one back in. And I have cut the pieces down to size, what I believe will be the appropriate size. If it fits, great. If it doesn't, fine. I think I need to clean this up a little bit, but I think that's after the fact. I just want to check for fitment. So I'll need this, obviously these two pieces that I've cut down, and then finally the filter. So I have to come back and take this out, so that's what I'm going to do.
Alright, for better or for worse, this is very easy to take out because I've taken it out so many times. And I had one bolt here, one bolt down there to lift this up. I have to be careful about the LED lights that are in this area, so I have to gingerly take this out. There we go. Alright. There's also one more bolt here that I have removed already.
So there goes this piece. Alright, but this is the space I got to work with, and I'm going to leave the battery here. This is it, folks. If this doesn't fit, then, you know, it's a educational YouTube video on what not to do. So this is going to go in like this somehow. I'm going to go in here.
If I sound a little, like, frustrated, it's only because it's taken so long to measure this out and make sure all this fits, you know, but,
That's my deal. Alright, make sure this fits in here. So I'm going to take my time. You might see me do this on camera, or I might be off frame for a little bit. There we go. So it goes in. I'm going to make sure it goes in nice and easy, nice and straight. This other part's going to go right in there. I've got about 1 inch of travel, so I know it's going to have to get in there at least 1 inch, or at most 1 inch. There you go. That's pretty much it. This piece is going to go in there. I don't know if you remember, but this piece was like 5 or 6 inches. This is all I'm going to use. And that's kind of it. The filter has to really meet it. They're almost flush. So you see, it's almost, this is going to go almost flush to the other tube. So moment of truth. Well, well, well. It fit. Wow. It actually fits, you guys. Wow. Well, let me go around so you can see this angle, and I apologize for all the construction and gardening and everything, and for the shade my hat is going to give here, but let me just stand here and describe what we did. It actually does fit. Holy smokes. I think the hood is going to close fine. That was the big piece, understanding the angle of that. This, I understood it needed to be flush, and if you look in here, it fit. There's enough space in here. I'm gonna make sure this is snugger. I think this might need to be just a wee bit snugger, but maybe not. This is actually kind of it, you guys. I may need to put a hose clamp here and a hose clamp here, and we're off to the races. But that's it, you guys. I'm not gonna turn the car on because it's actually getting worked on for something else, but there you have it. Cold air intake. Maybe at some point I'll make another video showing the actual turning on of the car once everything is clean. So thanks, you guys. I appreciate the patience you guys